Question number 9. What is the solution xy to the system of equations above? All right, there are actually several ways to solve this problem. If you remember question number 1, that was the easiest question. Question number 9 is a little bit more difficult. We solved question number 1 just like a simple equation, but I alluded to a strategy, and I said that you didn't really have to use that strategy for question number 1 since it was so easy. It was a simple equation, and we could just solve it algebraically. But I also alluded to a strategy called just using the answer choices and working backwards. We can actually do that here. So this is probably the strategy that will piss off most math teachers because this is not the way that they taught you, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. So these are the two equations. And one thing we could do is just use these answer choices and plug them into x and y to see if they work. So we could try A, -5, -2. So -5 is our x. Let's try it like this. So x is -5, y is -2. So we're going to try answer choice A, and we're going to plug them into both of these equations. So we'll try this one first, 3x plus 4y. So 3 times -5 plus 4 times -2. What does that equal? So that's -15 plus -8. That equals, this should equal -23. And this does equal -23. So it works for this equation. Now we're going to have to see if it works for the second equation. 2y, so 2 times -2, minus x, which is -5. Now this is supposed to equal -19. So -4 minus -5, which is plus +5, -4 plus 5 is +1. It's supposed to equal -19, so it doesn't work there. So A would not work. Let's try answer choice B. X equals 3, y equals -8. So 3x, 3 times 3, plus 4y, 4 times -8, should equal -23. 9 plus -32 does equal -23. So for B, the first equation checks out. We have to try it for the second equation. Again, x equals 3, y equals -8. This is a -8. I didn't write that very well. So 2y, 2 times -8, plus, 2 times -8 minus 3 should equal -19. 2 times -8 is -16 minus 3, that's -19. So it checks out in both equations. So B would be the right answer. So that's one way to do it. Now, let me show you kind of like the regular math way to do it. There are two ways we could use: elimination and substitution. So if that way makes most sense to you, definitely use it. If it doesn't, I can definitely show you another way. So we will do the second way, elimination. And this is one of the ways that we learned in math class and algebra. So again, we are trying to find the x and y. Let's see. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to take this one as written. Oops. And then this second equation, I'm just going to rearrange so the x's and y's line up. So instead of 2y minus x, I'm going to put negative x plus 2y. So they line up, so the variables line up with the equation above. I'm just rewriting the first equation, 3x plus 4y equals negative 3. But here, I'm just simply rewriting and putting the negative x first so it lines up with the x here, and then plus 2y. So this 2y lines up with 4y equals negative 19. Now I need to cancel out one variable. So I'm going to multiply this entire equation by 3. So 3 times negative x is negative 3x. 3 times 2y is positive 6y. And then 3 times negative 19 is negative 57. And then the first equation, 3x plus 4y equals negative 23, I'm just going to rewrite that. You might be asking, why did you multiply by 3? So now if we add these equations, 3x plus negative 3x, that cancels out. And then if we add this, 4y plus 6y, that's 10y. And negative 23 plus negative 27 is negative 80. 10y equals negative 80, y equals negative 8. The only answer choice where the y is a negative 8 is B. Then if you plug negative 8 back into any one of these equations, you'd get 3 for the x. Why am I not doing that? Is because there's only one answer choice with the negative 8, so it has to be B. So this is the way to do it called elimination. And then the last way to do it is called the substitution method. So let's delete this. And try substitution. So we're going to leave this top equation as is. This one, 2y minus x equals negative 19. So let's just put a line between here. So this we're going to leave as is. 2y minus x equals negative 19. So let's solve for x. Let's isolate x. So if I add x to both sides, this would be x minus 19 equals 2y. And if I add 19 to both sides, this would be x equals 2y plus 19. All right. Now, x equals 2y plus 19. I'm going to substitute 2y plus 19 in for x to solve for y. So let's just copy this equation. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right. So this equation here, from here we solve for x. X equals 2y plus 19. So I'm going to substitute 2y plus 19 in for x. So 3 times, instead of x, I'm going to put 2y plus 19 plus 4y equals negative 23. It's called substitution because I basically isolated one equation and I'm substituting 2y plus 19 in for the x. So 3 times 2y is 6y plus 3 times 19 is positive 57 plus 4y equals negative 23. 6y plus 4y is 10y. plus 57 equals negative 23. If we subtract 57 from both sides, kind of running out of room here, 10y equals negative 80, y equals negative 8. Again, the only answer choice where y is negative 8 is B. If you wanted to check to make sure, if you plug in y to any of these equations, you'd get x equals 3. So that's the substitution method. I suggest that you use any method that makes sense for you. If the using the answer choices method and working backwards makes the most sense, use that one. Remember, it has to work for both equations. If elimination makes most sense, use that. If substitution makes most sense, use that strategy. A lot of times there are multiple ways to solve these problems. Just use the way that makes the most sense to you. So hope that helped, and I'll see you for question number 10.